Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. As per usual, I'll be going over my normal schedule of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, OmiseGO, Lisk, Cardano, and Iota. We'll start off with a quick general market update, but we'll go over all the cryptocurrencies that I listed in that order in a more detailed technical analysis on TradingView in just a second. Other than that, if you're interested in monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities, go check out my premium content. There'll be a link to that in the description of this video. And if you're interested in trading altcoins, go check out Binance. I have a link to them as well in the description. Let's get started with a general market update. We can see that Bitcoin is taking a bit of a hit again, now back below $15,000, and that's pretty much causing a drop across the board here. So a lot of red today, pulling back to the lower levels, unfortunately, which means that we will probably see some pullback / consolidation until we're fully done with the holiday season, meaning, beginning of next year. So Ethereum is pulling back quite a bit as well. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, same thing. Ripple is one of the exceptions, actually holding up pretty nicely, did pretty well today. It's some money has been flowing into it instead of Bitcoin, like I've been saying. So that's nice to see. Other than that, we've got Ray blocks. I made a video on that yesterday, and I think that it's a really good cryptocurrency. It's holding up well again today. So that's good to see, but otherwise, as you can see, there's a lot of red, right? Salt doing pretty good. Pretty much red across the board here, unfortunately. Very few, select coins that are actually doing well. We've got Navcoin over here up 17%, going towards $4. Yet another cryptocurrency that I like a lot, but other than that, as you can see, a lot of red today. Let's get started with the Bitcoin technical analysis. And as we can see, let me just zoom in a tad here. We broke back below our uptrend line over here, which means that we will probably move back towards this 13,673 support level unless we can get some kind of bounce back above the uptrend line very quickly. But otherwise, we're going to come back and test this support horizontal black line right over here and hopefully get a bounce off that. As far as the MACD goes, we're moving lower once again, still downtrending, same thing on the histogram, and now starting to move back a bit lower on the RSI. So it looks like we're going to sustain the pullback a little bit longer, probably going to see some more consolidation here. We can see that the middle band is actually starting to point downwards, which is a bearish sign. So I'd be very careful and watch out how that plays out, right? If we're really going to see more serious downtrend starting to play out, which could push us back towards that $11,000 level. I'm not saying that's going to happen just yet, but if we break below this 13,673 support level, that's the next stop, and we're just going to be looking for a flattening of the MACD and then an eventual crossover back above the orange line to signal a regaining of the bullish momentum. Let's go over now to Ethereum and take a look at how it's been doing. So Ethereum was holding up pretty nicely until now, and it kind of rounded back up, fell back a bit lower. It's currently bouncing on the middle band, which is at $696, and on our support line at $691. Those are both pretty major support levels right now, and we want to make sure that we can hold above those. So it's doing that for now pretty well. We are dipping below our $715 support level, so that's going to act as resistance now, and not a good level to lose, right? Because that is also a pretty important resistance, and that could mean that we might see a further drop. For now, though, it is holding the $700 mark pretty well. We can see that the Bollinger Bands are starting to contract, which means that we may see some consolidation for a bit longer in this area. The MACD is moving lower, same thing on the histogram, and we broke below our symmetrical triangle on the RSI, which means that we'll probably follow a little bit more here. So it's actually holding up relatively well. I'd say we're either going to see some consolidation here or a drop lower if things get really bad. Of course, we can always bounce back higher, but we'd have to see the whole market regain strength, which for the time being, it's actually looking a little bit bearish right now. Let's go over to Litecoin and see how it's been doing. So Litecoin has been facing a lot of trouble with this resistance level over here. This is the downtrend line that we've been in, pretty short-term downtrend line, but it's causing the price to get a lot of downward pressure. We can see that the middle band is starting to top off a little bit. Bollinger Band starting to contract, downtrending pretty heavily on the MACD and histogram. Same thing on the RSI. So until we see the price move back above this downtrend line, we're probably going to continue to drop a little bit lower, right? We should see some pretty big support at $218. So we'll be looking for some type of bounce there. Then again, a little bit of support, of course, at $200. And if we lose $200, we're going to move back down to that $161 level, which we bounced off of on our previous drop. So hopefully we won't go that low, but for now it's actually looking pretty bad, and until we see it break above this downtrend line, the pressure will be downwards for Litecoin, unfortunately. Let's go over to Ripple. Once again, Ripple has been one of the single cryptocurrencies to actually hold nicely and even make an increase in price over the past couple days. So as you can see, we had a little bit of a dip, but overall we've been holding this uptrend line over here very nicely. And today, yet again, doing pretty good. We put in a high at $1.39, new all-time high on the previous candlestick. On this current candlestick, we're pulling back a little bit. Doji candlestick, so relatively indecisive at this point, still holding the uptrend line, of course. MACD looking pretty strong, still uptrending, maybe starting to top off a little bit. We do have a downtrend, though, on the histogram, which is a bit of a divergence, something to pay attention to there. And the RSI is still above that 70 line, which is good. So no major signs of weakness just yet. Of course, wouldn't be surprised with the market weakness if it dropped back a little bit lower towards $1. That is always possible, but for now, it looks like it's going to consolidate in this range for the time being. And if a lot of money flows into it because other cryptocurrencies are falling, it could maybe even go a little bit higher. Let's go over to NEO now and see how it's been doing. So NEO got a pretty nasty drop here, all the way down to $58. Bounced off that and our middle band as well at around $56. We can see that the MACD officially crossed over into the negative range, right? Basically crossed below the orange line. We're now negative on the histogram and broke below our support level on the RSI. These are all pretty bearish signs as far as indicators go, and that could definitely mean that we're going to see a bit further of a drop here. So it'd be great to see the price hold above this $58 level and really make sure that we don't go dropping below that, because if that happens, we're probably going to come back towards $50 at the very least, right? A bounce is always possible at this point because we're holding this $58 level, so we'll have to wait and see, but the indicators are definitely looking bearish, and that should mean at the very least some consolidation, maybe even if they really pan out more, a drop in price that'll be a bit more severe. Let's go over to Vertcoin now and take a look at what it's been doing. So we probably, like I said, won't see a lot of these cryptos move back up until the new year. Going over to Vertcoin, we can see that it dropped below our $7.21 support level. That's a bad sign because we were just managing to hold above that. And I said that if we lose that level, we'll probably come back towards $6. That's what's happening right now, right? We're finding support on our $6.35 support level over here, which is good. But if we lose that, we're going to go much lower, back down to $4.85, unfortunately. So this is sort of really the last edge before the bigger drop here, which would really kind of kill any uptrend momentum that we previously had. In fact, if I go ahead and draw our uptrend line here in the short term, we actually broke below that now, and we have a little bit of a downtrend in the making. Could see the middle band starting to move lower as well. As far as the MACD goes, definitely downtrending there pretty severely. Same thing on the histogram, and the RSI now losing some support levels, going back towards that 40 line. So pretty bearish here for Vertcoin. I would say we just want to make sure that we can hold above the $6.35 support level, but at this point nothing is guaranteed, right? Going over to Monero, and let's see how Monero has been doing. It's been one of the cryptocurrencies that's been acting pretty well. You can see that it had managed on the previous candlestick to make its way above our uptrend line, back above our uptrend line, and unfortunately on this current candlestick got a pretty nasty drop back down to our middle band and support level at $328. Downtrending on the MACD, downtrending on the histogram, broke below our 57 line on the RSI, all bearish signals, and continuation of bearish signal here on the MACD, especially where we almost got the beginning of a crossover, but that didn't pan out. So at this point, at least we're holding above the middle band, which we want to make sure can continue, at least trade alongside it if we get some consolidation in this $335 range. We'll be looking for a move back above $354 and then our uptrend line if we want to regain the bullish momentum, right? But for now, it's looking like it's probably going to get, finally, I should say, some consolidation because it has been acting very well. So maybe it'll continue to do so, but at this point, it's looking more and more likely that it's going to take a breather. Going over to OmiseGO now, we can see that it broke below its $14.50 support level. That's a very important level because that's where we had our breakout, and the fact that we dropped back below that is not a good sign. We did find support on our middle band, the brown line over here at $13.50, which is good. Hopefully we can hold above that. It is holding up the price pretty nicely. That could help, hold things a bit higher, but if we lose that, we're probably going to trade and consolidate in this $13 range at the very least. We do have some pretty good support here, so I'm not worried about seeing too much of a droppage, but it's always possible. At least we do have a lot of support in between $11 and $12, so I don't think we're going to go much lower than that. I really think we'll hold this $12.24 support level, but the MACD here definitely crossed over. Same thing on the histogram, now in the negative zone, and dropped below our uptrend line, short-term uptrend line on the RSI. Once again, all bearish signals, unfortunately. Going over now to Lisk, and let's see, Lisk got a pretty nasty drop here. Looks like a little bit of a top in the short term, and didn't really manage to put in really a higher high here on the previous candlestick, unfortunately. So made its way at $27, but not much higher than that. So we fell back down now, bounced off our uptrend line, which is good. We want to make sure that we can hold above that level. We'll have a lot of support at $20, right? That's about the area that we bounced off of on the candlestick, and a level that we want to make sure we can hold moving forward. As long as we hold above that, we should be more or less in the clear. But the MACD is starting to hook back over towards that orange line, downtrending now on the histogram. Let me go and put that in for you. Of course, bearish signals, and crossed below the 70 line and broke below its uptrend line on the RSI, right? Once again, that's a bearish signal. So at least we're holding above the uptrend line. If that holds, then great. Otherwise, we could see a move back, really testing and holding above this $20 level, and then we can maybe even lose that and move back towards, around $17. What's good is, since it's been trading already in these higher levels for a couple days, it did put in quite a bit of support, right? So I think the very lowest that we would go if there was some kind of bigger drop would be, maybe around $15 to $17 at the very most, because we do have this previous uptrend line over here, which should be some pretty major support. That's at around, $17.60. We also have our uptrend line, our middle band over here. So quite a bit of support nonetheless at around this $17 mark. I'm not really worried about it dropping more than that. Of course, anything is possible, but it does have a lot of support. Let's go over now to Cardano and take a look at how it's been doing. So Cardano has slowly but surely been moving a little bit lower. Actually started to flatten out a little bit today, which is good to see. I compared its move over here to what it did previously on the breakout, which was a move higher, a little bit of flattening out, and then a pretty strong collapse where he bounced and then restarted to move back up. This time around, pretty similar, right? We of course got the breakout, then started to move a little bit lower, and it's actually starting to flatten out now. So if we do manage to hold above our 2,500 Satoshi level, that will be a very good sign, right? And it'll avoid us dropping back to the 2,000 Satoshi level, which we of course want to try to do. Previously on the drop, we had a pretty small dip on the MACD. We could see that again. So we have officially crossed over on the MACD back below the orange line, which is a bearish signal. But if it's a quick dip, then it's not that worrisome. We are also negative on the histogram, but that should be hopefully a pretty quick dip as well as we had previously. We are managing to hold our uptrend line on the RSI, which is good. So just going to make sure that we can hold above this 2,500 Satoshi level, and hopefully start to slowly see it climb back a little bit higher towards that 3,000 Satoshi level. Let's go over now to let's go over to Iota and take a look at what it's been doing. So we can see that it lost its very short-term uptrend line, now dropped back at this $3.42 support level, currently holding above that. It may not last very long because we don't have that much support here, and we're getting pressure from the middle band currently at $4 that's actually pointing downwards. That'll serve as a lot of resistance moving forward, unfortunately. We'll have quite a bit of support at around $2.75, level to pay attention to for potential bounce and recovery, and around $2.60. And then finally at around $2 will be the next big level of support. Downtrending pretty severely on the MACD, which means that we could maybe see it start to hook back over. Yeah, pretty low here on the histogram as well. And as far as the RSI goes, just kind of flattening out, maybe moving a little bit lower. So we'll see if we lose this $3.42 support level. If we don't, then we can expect it to consolidate a little bit, but we do have a lot of pressure that will come from that middle band, which tells me at least that we'll probably see at least this $2.75 mark. With that being said, everyone, I appreciate you watching this video. If you heard a little bit of noise in the background, I'm sorry about that. It's because I'm in a hotel. I'm currently traveling right now, so there's not much I can do, unfortunately. But I thank you for watching nonetheless. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.